Hi friends, it's Amy at Doki Forest, and today I'm sharing with you my journal page I created using the Janet Nash prompts from May 29th. Janet holds a live stream every Monday, and you can feel free to join live or you can watch the replay later, and she will share something that she's been working on, some really beautiful process things that she's doing. I know in her most recent one, she was creating shaped postcards to send around the world. It's beautiful. So check out her channel, and then also in the live stream, she will pull 5 to 6 random journaling prompts, which you can then take and use in your journal if you so choose. So the prompts for May 29th were waves, paint, googly eyes, puzzle piece, scrape paint, and scraps from your desk. So as you can see, the first thing I was doing was scraping paint. And because we also had the prompt of waves, I thought, well, this is perfect. I can go ahead and just scrape the paint and move my scraper, in an up and down motion, kind of mimicking the waves. And I will speed up the video in just a second here because it takes me I think it took me like an hour to make this page. So that's like a really long video. So we can go ahead and snap our fingers and make this a little bit shorter so that way it's more manageable for everyone to watch. And these are some paper scraps from my desk. So I thought I could put them in and have them sort of be like waves and, sea foam, just kind of add some more texture to my ocean page. And I know normally you don't find pink, but you know what? If it's like a sunrise or a sunset, there can be some cool reflecting colors from the sun on the sparkling waves. And I have a little bit of gold in some of the paper too, so I like that because again, it's almost like it's reflecting a little bit of the sun. You're catching some shine on the water. And then I thought I would just add a little more with my Posca pen, so just adding some more wave lines, maybe some little bubbles here and there. And I couldn't find a puzzle piece, so I thought for sure we might have a stray piece here or there. And I looked, I couldn't find one, so I made my own. And then googly eyes, I had to go into the kids' old craft bin because I didn't have any googly eyes, but luckily they did. Now at this point, I'm still figuring out the page, and I thought, well, maybe the puzzle piece will be a person, because you know how sometimes they kind of look like a person? And then I thought, no, I think I'll have the puzzle piece floating and a fairy will be standing on it, like they're doing a paddleboard sort of thing. But then, as I was drawing, I quickly changed it from a fairy into a little froggy. And instead of having a regular paddle, I changed it to a leaf. So my idea was quickly changing. And then I thought, well, the prompt is waves. So I have like ocean waves, but then I was like, I can also have the little froggy waving. So I thought, oh, well, I can have a sea creature. He can be waving hello to a sea creature as he's doing his paddleboard, or in this case, I guess it's a puzzle board, across the ocean waves. And then I'm thinking, okay, so when I draw and paint the sea creature, I can probably put the googly eyes on them. So here's my sea creature. It's like kind of a Loch Ness monster sort of sea dragon. And then I promptly forgot about the googly eye as I drew the eye on. And I'm just, sketching it out. I wanted them to have some fins. And I'm just trying to figure out how to get them on the page so they look like they're looking at each other. And then I realized I forgot the googly eyes. So now I'm realizing, okay, well, maybe I'll make one of the waves like sort of coming to life. So here's my wave. This is a wave that's like extra splashy. And see, he's got a little like watery hand that's also waving. And then those 2 lumps at the top will be where I will put their eyes once it dries. And one of the prompts was paint. So I'm painting. And I know I painted by scraping paint, but I figured I'd also do some watercolor painting. And then that way I've definitely got the prompt down, right? I have really enjoyed, I love watercolor painting. I've really been getting into acrylics lately too. I love doing the painty papers, really enjoying using my fingers lately. I think I talked about that in the last video, my Messy May journal, because a lot of the prompts are, you know, using your fingers to paint. And I've really been enjoying that too. So I'll even do that a little bit on this journal page. And then I'm just trying to add some texture here. So I just am dotting the watercolor and just kind of watching it, you know, bleed out or spread out, you know, kind of going into the other colors there gently. And I thought it would give it maybe a scale kind of look, but it actually faded pretty light. So even though I was adding a little bit more to it and trying to bring out the color, it did fade pretty light, but I like it. I didn't, sometimes I'll go back in and add some scales. I'll draw some scales in with either white or black. But in this case, I kind of liked everybody being these very soft kind of greens, very soft colors. And the frog has some texture because he's got those little bumps. But the sea dragon, I decided, you know, a little bit of texture on the fins, and then that was it. I didn't want to go in and draw a bunch of scales like I often do. And even with the frog, normally I'd go in there and kind of take those bumps and color them in with my white gel pen, but I didn't do that either. I actually didn't use white gel pen on this page, surprisingly. And I thought, let's jazz up this puzzle piece so it looks like a nice little paddleboard, kind of like a surfboard. So I just made it a flower pattern. I thought that looks kind of puzzly, right? Like there's another piece out there somewhere. And I couldn't remember how much of this was going to get covered, so I just colored the whole thing. And then we've got our frog, and the leaf looks a little funny at the bottom. I know it's like choppy because, well, first of all, it's because I was using kind of a scrap piece of watercolor paper. Oh, here go the eyeballs. It's coming to life. But also because I knew I was going to cover the bottom of the paddleboard with some of this paper, like I'm doing right here. So that way it looks like the waves are coming up. So I put a piece of paper under the sea creature and under the wave and where that leaf goes into the water. So that way it would look more waterish, you know. I didn't want it to have like a crisp line where I had cut the watercolor paper. I wanted it to just kind of all go together. And of course that little wave needs a smile, so I had to add that. And now my fingers. I told you I was going to paint with my finger. And this is just some gesso, just to get a little white paint in there, some froth, you know, because when you look at the ocean, it's not just blue, right? It's got some froth and bubbles. And this is one of those times where I was just really, really enjoying this. I am like loving painting with my finger. And I'm trying to just blend some of those crisp edges on the bottom of some of the painty paper. And, you know, it's just one of those things you just kind of keep going until you decide it's done. There's no right, there's no wrong. You're just going with your feeling. A little here, a little there. And with that, our page is done. Thank you so much for coming by and joining me. I hope you are having a wonderful day, and I will see you again soon.